Morning, I'm Jon Thelen. Today on Fish Head, we're all doing some walleye fishing. It's midsummer, and these fish, they've slid into that typical midsummer pattern. They're deep, you can see them on the graph, they're on mid-lake structure, and they're easy to catch. Stay right where you're at. Fish Head's coming up. There's one. Fish about pulled that line right out of my hand when he hit it. I mean, he just drilled it. Slipped out off the edge here a little bit. Just trying something different. You know, one of the things you find out sometimes is sometimes your different year classes of fish are right in the same neighborhood, but one of them's using the shallower side, one of them's using the deeper side, and kind of banking on the fact that maybe some of our better fish today, there he is, are sitting out here. Oh yeah, that's a better fish. They're sitting out here in a little bit deeper water is what's going on. I don't think this guy's a giant, but he's a better fish. I gotta be a little careful here. He got under the boat on me, and you know, that's one of the things, when you're sitting here fighting a wind like this, you just gotta be real careful. And what I'm gonna do is actually slow this thing down almost to a crawl or a stop, because I don't want the boat going that way. So if the boat's going forward, he can get in my motor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let the boat drift backwards, just like that, with the bow in the wind. And I'll just kind of bump it every now and then as this fish tires himself out a little bit, because the odds of him getting in that trolling motor are a heck of a lot less than getting in that outboard. And if he does get in that trolling motor, there's a good chance I'll be able to get him untangled. You know, a lot of times you get a fish in your big motor, it gets awful hard. This is a good fish here. I mean, he's taking a lot of drag on me, and he's wearing my wrist out a little bit. Lindy Rig, in my opinion, though, man, I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite ways to fish. And I'll tell you why. It just allows you to deliver live bait in its absolute most natural looking form. Here he is. Oh, that's a good eye. Let's see if we can finish the deal here. It's always a little tougher when you're trying to do everything yourself, doing your netting and everything, especially in the wind. Getting the wind and nothing's easy. Look at that. That's a great fish right there. But what I was saying about Lindy rigging is, you know, it just flat out delivers fish in the most natural presentation possible. Settle down there, big guy. And we'll get you back. I'm gonna get you unhooked. But fish like that one right there, I mean, he knows exactly what he's eating. He's running around eating every single day. He knows exactly what it is he's gonna plan on eating. So sometimes you can go through with something and you can fool him. And then there's other times where you just really need to go through and look just like what it is he's eating. And that's what we're trying to do here, is just look just like the food that this fish has already eaten. Look at that. What a great eye that is. We're gonna let that fish go, and then I'm gonna show you a little bit of what exactly I'm using. He's got quite a mark on him there, but you know, you'll get that, especially in these older fish. But what a great fish right there. All right, buddy, let's get you out of here. Oh, there he goes. Man, there's nothing like watching a big fish swim away. But you know, I'm talking about Lindy Rigs today, and I'm Lindy rigging for a reason. We've hit that point of the year where these fish, they've moved out onto structure, and they're sitting in specific areas on structure. Now, if we were on an area where the fish were really scattered out and they were all over, there's a good chance you'd find me pulling spinners, you'd find me pulling little guys. But what I'm doing today instead is I'm Lindy rigging, and here's why. These fish are really uptight to the edge of this structure. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to park the boat and work along this edge. And as long as I can do that, I can put that bait in front of that fish. I can control my speed. I can go really slow. When I see fish, I can actually stop. And what happens is, because we have this 6-foot leader on this Lindy rig, that leech can just swim there. And he lifts himself up off the bottom and is just tantalizing to a walleye laying there. But it allows me to move fairly quickly until I see fish. Then I can hit the brakes and fish them. The other thing I'm doing is I'm using a no-snag sinker. And I want to explain this sinker system to you a little bit, because a lot of people think it's just because of the shape that it doesn't get snagged. But there's something else to it. It does have a shape that allows it to not get snagged. I mean, you can see it's going to skitter along the bottom. But I'm actually holding that thing up a little bit where I'm fishing today. And every now and then when it gets down in there, it just bumps, okay? I'm not actually burying a whole walking sinker. The other thing is if you're fishing an area that's snag infested, let's say we were in rocks, up in the top of this, in about the top third, it's actually balsa underneath this rubberized coating. Well, what that allows you to do is if you get snagged up, you can just flip your bail and that sinker will actually stand up so that you can pop it right out because that balsa floats. It's just like a bobber. It'll slip right up and pop right out. Today I'm using a 1/2 ounce, 6-foot Lindy Rig Snell, and that seems to be the ticket. You know, I like to go lighter if I can, but the truth of the matter is in this wind, I need to make sure I'm in the right spot, and that 1/2 ounce is the exact ticket. Let's get them back in there and see if we can't find another one. Good bunch of active fish right here. There he is. He's just sucking on it. Didn't hit it very hard, just kind of grabbed on it. Every now and then you'll get that just grab and he'll just kind of hang there. And that's what this fish did. He was just hanging on it. We'll see. Where are you? There he is. Got him. A lot of times, this one feels like a little bit better fish. Oh yeah, it is. A lot of times what happens is when that wind will lay down a little bit, and that happens a lot of times just throughout a day, you really notice it when you're out on the water. You really notice how much weather changes throughout a day. But when this wind laid down, one of the things I can tell you that it seems like is the fish just aren't snapping it quite as aggressively. That's a good eater fish right there. Look at that one. Look at that. What a great way to wrap up the day. Man, I'll tell you, Lindy rigging always has been, and really always will be, one of the most effective ways to catch fish. And I don't care what it is you're looking for, you know, whether it's walleyes or smallmouth bass or pretty much anything. Pretty much anything will eat a Lindy rig, and here's why they'll do it. Because you're presenting that live bait so naturally. I don't think there's another way that you can put live bait down there, be it a leech, a crawler, or a minnow, or really anything, and have it be more natural than what you can do with a Lindy rig. It's a great way to wrap up the day. We've caught a smorgasbord of everything today. We've caught small ones, we've caught big ones, and you get a fish like that that's perfect size to eat. We're not going to keep them today because we got plenty of fish at home, but I'll tell you what, that's a great way to wrap up a day and a fun day of fishing. Get out and do some Lindy rigging. It's pretty tough to beat it.